Dear wanderer, welcome. This time I will show you how do I use the propagation technique called air layering on my Japanese maple trees. I will try out 3 different rooting medium to test out which option gives you the best results. The best time to do air layer of Japanese maple is during growing season, typically in spring or early summer. This allows sufficient time for the new roots to form before the colder months. Usually what I use for air layers is bubble wrap, aloe vera, aluminium foil, a brush, rooting powder, some tape, grafting knife, cable ties, and honey. And my favorite rooting medium, sphagnum moss. Our black tape will mark the ordinary rooting hormone from the shop. The next rooting powder was sent to me for a test by Adam from Notion Bonsai. If you like to check out his shop, please see the link below. First, we will start to work on this big Japanese maple, which we planted 3 years ago when root ball season took place. Giving 3 years to establish itself in the ground will help us to make this operation more successful. You can also do air layering on container grown trees as well, but here are a few benefits when you air layer a field grown tree. Air layering field grown trees creates stronger, healthier roots and faster establishment, with better acclimatization and resilience compared to container-grown trees. They avoid root bounding and adapt quickly, though container offer more mobility and control, but limit root growth. Now, let's get into it. When performing air layering, you cut into the bark of a selected branch to expose the cambium layer. When removing the bark, the gap between the top and the bottom cut should be the thickness as the trunk. Using rooting powder can significantly enhance the success of the air layering by promoting faster and more robust root development. The roots will form just above the cut. This is because of the wound disrupts the flow of nutrition, encouraging the accumulation of growth hormones like auxins at the site, which stimulates root development at that point. After we apply the rooting hormone, I like to use sphagnum moss as a rooting medium. The benefits are such as moisture retention. Sphagnum moss can hold a large amount of water while still providing good aeration, creating an optimal environment for root growth. Aeration. The structure of sphagnum moss allows for excellent airflow, preventing root rot and promoting healthy root development. And natural sterility. Sphagnum moss has natural antiseptic properties that reduce the risk of fungal and bacterial infection in cuttings and air layers. While applying it onto the tree, make sure that the moss ball is tight enough so the roots will have a stable environment to form into. Also, when I apply the cable ties, I make sure that they are tight enough so the moisture will not escape while the root development takes place. As you see, I'm using aluminium foil to cover the air layer. Aluminium foil plays an important role in air layering by creating an ideal environment for root development. It wraps the air layer, preventing light from reaching to the rooting medium. This encourages root growth since roots develop better in darkness. Also helps to prevent the medium from drying out, creating a consistent damp environment. As it reflects sunlight, it helps to regulate temperature around the air layer, preventing it from getting too hot and drying out. You may ask, can I do multiple air layers on the same branch? Well, the answer is yes, but there are a few important considerations to ensure success. Branch strength. The branch needs to be strong and healthy enough to support multiple air layers. Each air layer puts stress on the branch, so if it's too thin or weak, it might not handle the extra weight or nutrition demands well. Spacing. Make sure to space the air layers far enough apart. This will allow the branch to continue transporting nutrients and water to each layered section. If the layers are too close together, the branch may struggle to provide adequate resources to all the air layers, reducing the success rate. Nutrition distribution. Keep in mind that each air layer is drawing the resources from the parent tree. Too many layers on one branch could limit the tree's ability to supply the necessary nutrients, potentially affecting root formation. Now let's see why exactly we are using rooting powders. Usually rooting powders are made of indole tree butyric acid, IBA, is a synthetic plant hormone belonging to the auxin family, widely used to stimulate root growth in plant cuttings and improve propagation success rates. As we mention multiple air layers on the same branch, I'm playing the safe game every year. I'd rather have one successful air layer on one branch rather than take the risk and might lose both. While we are waiting for the roots to develop, which usually takes 2 to 3 months, depends on the weather, let's check around the garden. Before the harvest begin, please let me introduce you to tools which I would not be complete without. Partnering up with Wazakura Japan gave me the possibility to try out very high-end quality handmade tools for the first time. All of their tools are handcrafted in local Japanese workshops. If you would like to check them out, I will leave you my link below, which will grant you a one-time 10% discount. As now the roots formed, we carefully remove the bubble wrap and try not to damage the new delicate roots. I use a mister on hand as I want to keep the roots moist till we plant the new tree. After successfully completing an air layering process, reducing the foliage of the new plant can help in transition more effectively from the parent plant to an independent growth phase. This step is especially important to minimize the stress on the newly rooted plant and encourage healthy growth. As the new plant has limited root system and may struggle to support all the foliage initially, reducing the number of leaves helps lower the amount of water the plant loses through transpiration. When it comes to planting the tree, I stick to the moss here as well. You can use ordinary garden soil or compost, but this method worked very well for me throughout the years. And the last thing is, give it a good watering. I'm using rainwater which we collect from the roof of the house. The trees will stay in the new greenhouse, which I built only for this purpose. It will shelter them from excess water, strong winds, and hot sun. As I have shown you how the roots form after 3 months, let's catch up with them in midway, just after 5 weeks after the operation took place. Now we can go back and harvest the rest. When it comes to separation of the trees, being extra careful again, not to damage any new developed roots. If you wish and your climate allows you, as we are getting to the end of the growing season here in Ireland, you can do cuttings from the branches you will take off. I have a lot of seedlings, so I will pass it this time. As you see, I will not bother to take out the lower section of the branch where roots did not formed, as we will not utilize that part of the tree in future, but I will leave it for next year when the new roots filled out the container, so I will make sure that this time I minimize the damage to the lowest. And next year we will come back and cut that out. Let's see why air layer is the often considered one of the best methods for propagating trees for several reasons. It produces an exact genetic copy of the parent tree, ensuring the new tree retains all the desirable characteristics. If I want to make a forest out of these air layers, I can be sure that all of them will be the same as the mother tree, same color in summer and fall and spring, color changing time, same leaf shape, same time for bud and leaf formation, so on and so on. What you see here is I have combined honey and Adam's rooting powder, so it sticks better to the branch and benefiting from both rooting capabilities. The ordinary rooting powder did the job as well, but Root Growth Pro from Notion Bonsai produced way healthier and more robust root growth. I think I will stick to this product from now on. The bigger trees will stay outside, but I will secure them to the greenhouse so the tree will not wobble in the pot and the new roots can form without any distress. So let's check the tree what we did first. Well, after seeing the results of 2 different rooting powders, I wish I had used what Adam sent me, as there is not much root as I expected, but will definitely be enough to generate more when we cut it off. while we are waiting for the roots to fill out the pots, let me show you a few of the air layers from last year. And if you wonder what happened to those trees where we only used aloe vera and the honey, well, as you see, a tree started to form callus for the roots, but at some point it just formed a bridge between the two cuts. The reason can be as if rooting hormone is not applied or not used properly, the tree might not receive enough signals to stimulate root growth, leading to healing instead. Some of you may leave the bridge when you're performing the air layer at the first place. For me, it never really worked with Japanese maple. We are now at September, a month since we harvested the trees. I know a few of you saying, well, this would have been a useful information when growing season started. I wanted to make sure that what I do on my trees, I can show you the results of the method I use. So I hope that you can apply all of this next year, or even experiment air layering out of growing season. So now all what's left is check on the new trees and see how they are doing now before they will go all into the greenhouse and will stay there till next March will break the dormant season. Thank you so much for staying with me till now. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. And I left you a little present for the end. See you all next time. As some of you were asking me about workshops, well, we do classes, and if you happen to be in Ireland or would like to come over and visit our beautiful country, you can book a whole day class with me. If you're interested to do so, please send me an email to bonsaifangorn@gmail.com. Have a good one, guys.
I'm not really offended. I don't because it would just get